welcome to France 24's weekly music show. I'm Marjorie Hash, and our guests this week are Ben Shemie from avant-garde rock band Suuns, who stem from Montreal, have been around for 15 years and are releasing their fifth studio album, The Witness. We also have, on the other hand, a fabulous up-and-coming artist here in France. She's been dubbed the French chanteuse, pop alternative chanteuse, and she's called November Ultra. Thank you so much to both of you for coming on the show. Now, we're going to start off with you, Ben. Now, Suuns was formed in Montreal, Canada, but you've actually recently relocated to Paris, France, and that was kind of at the start of the pandemic, if you don't mind me saying. And so that's a kind of a difficult time, but also you went through a lot of changes writing this new record and recording this record throughout the lockdowns and curfews, but you also went from being a four-piece to a trio. So for guys who are no strangers to getting out of their comfort zones when they're creating music, that's still a lot of changes, don't you think?
It's been a tough couple years, but a good couple years, I think. Yeah, a lot of changes personally, professionally. I mean, like everybody, it's been like a lot of change. But change is good sometimes. Yeah, so yeah. What is there to say about this?
How did that impact your album, the fact that you were writing between two countries?
Well, we started the record before all of this happened, and then we kind of slowed it down when we realized we couldn't tour. A lot of our career is really like a touring band, and that's how we kind of produce the music too, a lot of the times, kind of playing it live. So it definitely changed the process. At the same time, I think it was kind of a cool exercise in some ways. I mean, if you want to look at it positively, it really, in a weird, it's kind of interesting is that when you record a record, a lot of times you don't have much time to step away from it and listen to it. In this case, we did do a lot of the heavy lifting at the beginning, and then we took a break and we came back to it. And I mean, it's actually if you can do that, it's great because you really hear it with fresh ears 2 months later, and you hear all sorts of things for the first time in a way. And that's actually gold to have that perspective. So in a way, there has been good things about it. But yeah, it's been hard to get to today. But
Worth it. I think
worth it.
Yeah. Well, how about we check out one of the tracks taken from this new album, The Witness? Suns there, should I say, really, because it's a temptation to say sun, but it's radiating.
In France, everyone says sun,
Suns.
so I'm used to it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going very French there. Well, your new record also highlights this sort of musical evolution, and I read somewhere, actually in a number of places, that jazz had played a big influence in the way you structured and you composed this record, and it made me obviously think of jazz legend Miles Davis, who always said the importance isn't the note, it's the space that you allow between the notes. Was that something you were conscious of when you were composing?
Well, not, yeah, I suppose. Not, yes. I think, yeah, there's a minimalist aspect to the band, to the music that we do, and a lot of we definitely try to keep everything restrained more or less, and maybe let it out at a show. So yeah, we definitely try to keep things cool. This record's very different than the records we've done before. I think maybe also because we said before the circumstances. Also with becoming a trio, which we're now a 5-piece actually, with the addition of a few other people. So there is definitely a change. The band has definitely changed. And I think change is good, so maybe we're better now than I don't know.
We'll have to see. We'll see. You're going to be taking this to stage very soon because you're going over to Canada bit of a homecoming to showcase the album, notably at the 20th anniversary of Montreal Pop Festival, which is taking place from the 22nd to the 26th of September. What have you thought and imagined for this live performance?
Well, it's a hometown show, which is always really special in Montreal, and it's the shows that I'm kind of the most anxious about, 'cause it's all your friends and everything. But I think it's going to be cool because I think the ambience in Montreal is, for the festival especially, because there isn't a lot of international acts. It's kind of a local hang this year. So you'll get to see everybody. And as for the show, I don't know. We're just going to do the best we can.
Go with instinct a bit.
Yeah, we'll jazz it up.
And jam it. Well, in any case, it's lovely to see the return of music festivals after a year and a half of pandemic-linked cancellations. As COVID-related measures ease and changes are brought in, notably the pass sanitaire here in France, many festivals are back in more intimate or adapted formats now, such as the case of Paris's famous Rock en Seine festival, which normally takes place at the end of August at the Parc de Saint-Cloud. Now, this time there will be a smaller yet ever exciting lineup in Paris. As Invalides area, and one artist who is taking part in this year's Rock en Seine festival is November Ultra, aka Nova. Hello again. How does it feel for you to be taking part in this event?
Feels so cool. It feels so nice. I think you said about like playing home. I grew up with Rock en Seine, like just really 5 minutes away from my apartment, so like just to be able to play in kind of a version of it, which is like a little version for very much like showcasing artists are starting, is amazing. And also I think they're going to be here with some of my friends and family, so I'm a bit stressed out but very excited, very happy to play.
You've been hotly tipped as France's up-and-coming alternative pop singer, and you count amongst your influences Amy Winehouse, Frank Ocean, musicals, but also Mr. Jeff Buckley. First up, can you tell me about your name?
Yeah, November Ultra is because I was born in November.
Very good time.
The same day as Johnny Mitchell, which I love. And then there's this mixtape by Frank Ocean, which is called Nostalgia Ultra, that I love. And so it's a big wink to him. And the fact that I love that in that sense, November means nostalgia and vice versa. And it has a lot of meaning for the music that I make that I think is a bit nostalgic. And also we talked about musicals, and there's a lot of that into what I do.
And the music that you write and record from your own bedroom. Let's take a look at one of the tracks.
Pressuring me like crazy, it's crazy. Don't wanna live life in rewind. Having my future lay behind me and you. It's me, oh you. It's me without you. I think I'm better without you. Honey, honey, better without you. Honey, honey, better without you. Honey, honey, please. Honey, honey, please.
An aesthetically pleasing video there, which gave me a bit of a buzz. Oh, yes, sorry for the wordplay. I apologise. But anyways, lovely to talk to you about this music, or literally bedroom music, musique de chambre, you know. Now, the recent confined times, did they change at all the way you wrote it? Did it put you more deep into this sort of composition style, or not at all?
I think I thought I was going to get out of confinement with like 3 albums and stuff at first, and then I was just very anxious, I think like everyone. So I just learned how to let it go and be chill with creativity and stuff, and just to learn, like everyone, to live with what was going on. But then it absolutely, I think, had an impact on the song that I released first, which was Self-Tentender, which is a lullaby, which is what I wanted to hear, what I wanted to put into the world at that point. Maybe to love myself, but also people. And I'm so happy and grateful at how people are just like, you know, opening their arms to me and just being there and listening to my music.
Well, a lot of people are probably asking, when are you finally releasing an album? Is that something we do nowadays, or just singles that we drop into the ether?
I think you have to release the music the way that you love to listen to it, and I love listening to albums, so like it's always been an album, and it's part of a larger story, those two songs. So I think beginnings of 2022, and other songs are going to come in between, but I think we're in a rush of doing things all the time and not really being present. You release a song and you're like, what's next? And I really just want to be present for everything. And I'm just taking my time with it and really making it precious.
Well, we'll keep an eye on you. That's a good idea, taking time, and you learning to take time. It's nice coming together. And thank you so much, talking of coming together, on this France 24 show. The France 24 news is coming up in just a few seconds. Just to remind you, November Ultra will be at Rock en Seine, and follow her. And of course, The Witness, the new album by Suuns, is out, and you can check them out on tour. Normally, if everything goes well and the pandemic doesn't come back and nip us in the butts, in Canada in September, and as well October, the UK and France in November. We're going to have time just to wrap up with a little track in a second, but just enough time to tell you that you can follow all our culture news on france24.com, as well as Encore's social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You know the drum roll. And we're going to wrap up with the English heavy metal band that are Iron Maiden. They're back with their 17th studio album that's called Senjutsu, and it's their first in nearly 6 years. Let's take a look at the first single in all its glory. It's called The Writing on the Wall.
Hello, I'm Annette Young, the host of the 51%, and in this week's special edition, we're coming to you from the southern French town of Arles, which since 1970 has hosted an international photographic festival, and which these days is working hard to give more exposure to women photographers.
The 51%, presented by Annette Young on France 24 and France24.com.